Ericsson leads 5G interoperability test with global carriers. Telstra, Verizon, T-Mobile, AT&T, Sprint, NTT DoCoMo, Vodafone, Orange, and SK Telecom took part in 5G interoperability demonstrations with Ericsson following the standardization of NSA 5G specs. Ericsson has announced 5G new radio 5G NR interoperability trials alongside global carriers following the 3GPP standardization of non-standalone NSA 5G NR specs this week. The trials included the Australian mobile carrier Telstra, United States carriers T-Mobile, Verizon, Sprint, and AT&T, Japanese carrier NTT DoCoMo, Korean carrier SK Telecom, and European carriers Vodafone and Orange, as well as smartphone chip giant Qualcomm. The live demonstrations, which took place in Ericsson's lab in Kista, Sweden, and Qualcomm's research lab in New Jersey, US, saw the companies utilize the 3.6 GHz and millimeter wave and wave 28 GHz spectrum frequencies using Ericsson's pre-commercial 5G base stations and Qualcomm's 5G NR-UE prototypes. Ericsson said the demonstrations were part of ongoing industry collaboration accelerating 5G NR ahead of commercial network launches in 2019. This milestone builds on years of researching and developing 5G technology as well as on leading and contributing to the standardization work. By working closely with our key partners in early trials and fine-tuning our global portfolio, we ensure that we can bring the standard-compliant technology to the benefits of our customers and their customers. Ericsson AVP and Head of Business Area Networks Fredrik Jedling said. Ericsson said the demonstration complied with 3GPP's 5G NR specifications including massive multiple input multiple output massive MIMO wave support for adaptive beamforming and beam tracking technologies, orthogonal frequency division multiplexing OFDM waveform numerologies including sub-6 GHz and wave frequencies, dynamic, slot-based subframe structure for data transmissions, and polar coding and channel coding schemes using low-density parity check LDPC codes for large data blocks, and extreme peak rates and reliability. Telstra has been working to accelerate the introduction of 5G in Australia, and this interoperability testing is a significant milestone towards commercialization. Telstra Head of Networks Mike Wright said on the Ericsson announcement, "The strength of the 3GPP ecosystem is in the rigorous analysis to ensure devices and networks are fully tested together, so that our customers can purchase a 5G device in the future and have it work effortlessly on Telstra's mobile network." Ericsson has previously worked on advanced mobility trials with all of the carriers involved in this week's interoperability trials, including Telstra's 2016 5G trial attaining speeds of 20 Gbps, gigabit LTE trials with T-Mobile earlier this month, Verizon's 11 pre-commercial 5G networks across the US this year. AT&T's Texan 5G trial announced this week, 5G connected car trials with NTT DoCoMo, a pilot 5G network with SK Telecom, 5G NR trials with Vodafone this year, and 5G trials with Orange. The NSA 5G NR specs were approved by standards body 3GPP earlier this week, with an accelerated 5G deployment spanning continents. Networking companies, technology giants, and mobile carriers being signaled on Thursday as a result. NSA 5G NR specs were approved today at RAN number 78. Ballas's Bertenu Renshare called it an impressive achievement in a remarkably short time, with credit due particularly to the working groups, 3GPP said in a tweet. Following the approval, Ericsson, Huawei, Intel, Nokia, Samsung, AT&T, BT, China Mobile, China Telecom, China Unicom, Deutsche Telekom, Fujitsu, KT Corporation, LG Electronics, LG Plus, MediaTek, NEC Corporation, NTT DoCoMo, Orange, Qualcomm, SK Telecom, Sony Mobile Communications, Sprint, TIM, Telefonica, Telia Company, T-Mobile USA, Verizon, Vodafone, and ZTE announced that the global mobile industry can begin the full-scale development of 5G NR, including large-scale trials and commercial deployment. Vodafone R&D head Luke Ibbotson pointed out that the standard was set 6 months earlier than originally anticipated, with president of Huawei's 5G product line Yang Chabin saying Phase 1 of the 3GPP 5G NR standardization was completed with great progress thanks to collaboration between regulatory agencies, governments, research organizations, academia, and industry. China Telecom EVP Liu Gaiqing said the carrier would be looking to launch field trials in many Chinese major cities during 2018. KT-CTO Deng Minli committed to bring full-scale services of the true 5G standards to commercial market as early as 2019. China Mobile EVP Zhang Maoli is eyeing 2020. NTT DoCoMo CTO Dr. Hiroshi Nakamura said the Japanese carrier would launch NSA 5G services by 2020, and SK Telecom EVP Jin Hyo Park said the Korean telco would bring 5G into early commercial service in 2019. Deutsche Telekom CTO Bruno Jacob Feuerborn said it is now crucial that the industry now redoubles its focus on the standalone mode to achieve progress towards a full 5G system, so we can bring key 5G innovations such as network slicing to our customers. Intel Vice President and General Manager of Next Generation and Standards Ashok Hetty said Intel would continue supplying its 5G mobile trial platform and 5G modems to enable industry to run 5G trials. While Samsung Electronics head of it and Mobile Communications Division at Samsung Electronics DJ Ko said Samsung would expedite its commercial 5G chipsets, devices, and network equipment. Australia is set to host 3GPP's meeting in September 2018, where 5G standards should be given the final tick of approval during a vote. 3GPP finalizes 5G specifications, a big leap towards full-scale deployment of next-gen network. 3GPP third-generation partnership project, a body which sets industry standards for technologies, on Thursday finalized specifications for 5G network, the next generation of mobile telecommunications. This essentially means telecom service providers and manufacturers can now make uniform preparation for the next generation network. This would involve creating an ecosystem with relevant radios and equipment compatible with 5G. It is worth noting that most of the markets, including India, are aiming to deploy 5G networks in next 3 to 4 years. The standardization means the industry can finally move towards full-scale and commercial development of the network. Interestingly, the ratification has come 6 months ahead of the schedule, a move that could accelerate the arrival of 4G network. The 5G Stage 2 level specifications include the overall architecture model and principles, data services, subscriber authentication and service usage authorization, application support in general, but also specifically for applications closer to the radio, as with edge computing. Its support for IMS includes also emergency and regulatory services specifics, said the industry body in a release. Further, the 5G system architecture model uniformly enables user services with different access systems, like fixed network access or WLAN, from the onset. The system architecture provides interworking with and migration from 4G, network capability exposure and numerous other functionalities. The technology companies including the likes of Huawei, Intel, Qualcomm, MediaTek, Nokia, NTT DoCoMo have welcomed the completion of the first 5G new radio standard. We look forward to continue working with our mobile industry peers to bring 5G and our commercial networks and devices in 2019 in smartphone and other form factors, for both sub-6 GHz and wave frequency bands, and to continue developing 5G technologies to connect new industries and enable new services and user experiences in the years to come, said Cristiano Amon, Executive Vice President, Qualcomm Technologies Incorporated and President, QCT. The latest development comes at a time when various technology companies are running trials of 5G network. And some of them have achieved big milestones. For instance, Samsung earlier this month tested 5G on a high-speed train traveling over 100 km/h in order to show potential of the network on the go. Ericsson, in one of its first 5G demos in India, achieved a throughput of 5.7 Gbps and ultra-low latency of 3 milliseconds. Huawei and NTT DoCoMo recently successfully conducted a field trial for 5G mobile communications over long distance using 39 GHz mm waveband, achieving a maximum speed of more than 2 Gbps on a test vehicle.